Under the Trump Big Beautiful Bill, which is now law, every child born from now through 2028 gets a $1,000 federal deposit, no questions asked. It's called a Trump account. And according to new estimates from the Treasury, if families max it out every year with the allowed $5,000 in contributions, that account could grow to a staggering $1.9 million by the time the baby turns 28. So let's just go around the table. What do we think about this? Gary, you like it? You're not a big government guy. This is taxpayer money through the government, 2 babies. You like that?
I can think of worse things. How's that?
Okay.
Look, I'm fine. I mean, we already have tax deductions for when you have children, standard tax deductions. Okie dokie. Look, I'm no fan of taxpayer paying for anything anymore. There's just too much of that. But go ahead, have fun.
He's feeling generous. Madison, what do you think about it?
I love it. I think that even if, I know that for some it feels like, okay, this is not going to impact me because maybe I'm not at a baby making age, I'm not having kids, but you have kids that are going to have kids. And overall, we have a kid problem in this country. We are seeing our birth rate decline, and we need more kids because, you know, kids are the future. And also, as people retire, we need to keep fueling our workforce. So, I mean, you look just even 10 years ago, 2015, 4 million births a year. Today, it's closer to 3.6.
Yep.
So we're seeing that decline. If this helps people make that move, and the difference between tax deductions is that this is for the child. Right. So you have this money set aside. The kid can't take it out till 18. Even if nothing is touched and normal money is put in, they're able to graduate high school and start with a leg up. And this is a bit of a stretch, but in the last hour we talked about the presidential fitness exam. I think this is another good thing because it gets financial literacy in front of a child early. Even if your parents are making bad financial decisions or are just struggling to make ends meet, because many families are like that, you still get a little bit of help, and you have an account that you say, how did this money grow? What money is in there? It's an education piece, because not everyone has a Taylor Riggs, who's not with us right now because she's had her second child. But in Dana Perino's book, Taylor said that when she sells stocks for her daughter, she tells her daughter, like, mommy's selling this, mommy's buying that, and this is all helping. Her children are under 5, so I don't know how much they're taking in, but her point is...
Deeply comprehending those transactions.
So Taylor Riggs' family does not need the Trump account, but there are so many families that do, and if it helps with financial literacy, I think that's $1,000 federal dollars.
Anybody tell you you'd be a great trial attorney, because you're pretty convincing on some of these things.
Okay, so
thank you.
Let me see if I can push back on it. It is $3.6 billion a year.
I can think of worse things we spend money on.
Okay, you know, now that you said
I've heard that argument twice now. There are worse things, but it doesn't mean because there are worse things in the world, we should therefore do a thing that we're otherwise principally opposed to. So, Jackie, I bring that to you.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I've taken both sides of this. It's not going to impact me one way or another personally. My devil's advocate to Madison's argument would be that, you know, the Taylor Riggs of the world are going to teach their kids on their own. The kids that don't have parents that have the ability to teach them aren't necessarily going to learn from this. How are they going to know what to buy or sell? We don't have financial literacy classes in our schools right now. That's one of the biggest problems that we have. And so, you know, these kids are going to have this account, and they're going to need help to be able to make it grow in that way. So some kids will still be at an advantage to other kids. But I do hear the population problem that we have. This is why the Democrats will argue we need illegal immigration, because we don't have enough people to do jobs in this country. So President Trump is trying to incentivize more American babies being born. 3.6 billion, Brian, sounds like a lot, but in the scheme of the rest of our spending, I don't know.
Well, it's a lot of money. It sounds like a lot of money.
It's just another tariff.
But compared to trillions. Kenny, there are a lot of examples. And, you know, we're kind of making this equation like if you have money in an account, you will learn how to manage it. There are tons of examples in the world of people who have money.
And they don't have
no idea. So I don't know why we should make that equivalence.
No, I don't think you necessarily make that equivalent. But I do agree that it would at least cause, I'm hoping, some of these kids to become curious. What is that money? How does it grow? How can I see it? Because if the money's taken and you just put it in an S&P 500 fund, because I'm assuming that's kind of where they're going to put it, right? In an S&P broad 500 fund and just live it there. But I'm assuming as the kid gets older, certainly not at 3, 4, 5, but when the kid becomes 8, 9, becomes curious, that maybe that's going to help that problem. Because to your point, we don't have all these financial literacy counselors, which we absolutely should have. And not about, how do you balance a checkbook, because who even uses a checkbook anymore? But understanding real financial literacy and understanding investing and understanding what it means to compound money over time.
I also think removing the friction. So separate of we can debate, is this a good use of our federal dollars? Because I do obviously have issues with that type of spending. But I do think a lot of people do things when the friction is removed. So a family that has an account that's already set up that they can put $5,000 a year, which many families can't set that aside. But the idea that the account's there, and maybe dad got a bonus, or there was overtime over Christmas and they made good money, and instead of buying the gift, they'll put $100 in because the end of the year is coming and the account's already open.
Correct.
So much is done when friction is removed, and for a low price of $1,000 per new baby, which we need.
Someone correct me if I'm confused here. Does the account actually automatically invest in the S&P or something, or do you have to allocate?
Well, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's going to be just invested in a broad fund. Maybe not.
Okay.
It would be, listen, if they open this account and say, we're just going to put it in a money market fund, that's a waste of time.
Right.
They should open it and say, this is going in an S&P 500 fund.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Wow.
Thank you for that. You could do everything you just said and not put $1,000 of taxpayer money in it, and you could still have the account. I'm just saying there are ways to do it
There you
without
go.
putting taxpayers
Brian.
on the hook.
Novel, groundbreaking
What do I
idea.
know?
For the win.
All right.